Good evening. Sorry for the bit of a delay. We were experiencing a little technical difficulties, but we're back in full throttle here. We're going to read our little. Okay, here it is. All right. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 as amended on March 28, 2025. This meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided, the meeting/hearing will not be suspended or terminated if there are tech problems unless required by law. Viewers can visit the local scene.media/Duxbury, formerly pac-tv, to watch a video replay of this meeting on Duxbury YouTube. Welcome. So this evening, Mary, unless you've got something that you would like to kick off with other than CPC, we've got our fiscal advisory group here and the majority of the finance committee to meet with Holly and her band of merry men here and tell us about CPC.
Women. We're going to focus on CPC.
Generic term. I refuse. Yeah, it's a generic term. Mankind, if you will.
Does everybody have their warrant and have all of the CPC articles listed so we know we get through each of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. Then no, I think we're ready to let Holly take it away.
Yes, Holly, you're in charge.
Somebody's gonna have to give me the order because I'm not sure what the order of the articles are.
Article 27. Do we, first of all, let me just ask this we do have a couple of new members. Do we need to go through the operating fund allocations for CPC? It's the same as it is every year. We have the numbers, I think. Do we have the numbers for that, Mary? 26.
I do. I did them today. Hang on. Where did I?
So why don't we start with 26? But I unless somebody is not aware of what the law is, which I think we have it covered. You can just kind of give us the numbers of what is being allocated.
Unless you want to go through what we've received this year.
Up to you. Yep, you do.
And Mary just recently sent me over an update, but I noticed that the state match that you have on this chart was at 16%. Because we are a 3% town, we had 2 additional rounds of funding, which added about an extra 51,000 to that number.
Nice.
So this Holly, just to touch base on that a little bit. So the funding that was released in November was 16.9% for total funding for FY26. So for FY27, I'm being conservative and dropping it from 16.9 down to 16%.
Again, the numbers I got from the Community Preservation Coalition was from the DOR.
Yep.
And we had a 9.5.
For FY26, we received 387,000. And so this estimate for next year is just being a little conservative at 331.
Okay.
Especially given the sort of recent news about the housing market cooling off a bit. And this is obviously based on deeds recorded through the registry for conveyances.
Okay.
So that's where that number came from.
Fine with that. I mean,
it doesn't keep us from getting the money.
Yeah.
It's merely our estimate of what the allocation will be, but it doesn't have the actual allocation, just to be clear.
So, according to the sheets that Mary sent over to me.
You know what would be great, Holly? And here I am telling you to turn it over and then I'm going to boss you around. Would you like to introduce your panel?
Oh,
for
I'm so sorry.
That'd be great.
We have Amanda Maximchuk, who is from the Del Lorenzo farm. She's Brett's partner.
Right.
And then we've got Kathy Cross, who is open space representative. Nancy Rufo, who's the conservation administrator. I don't know if anyone else is. Tony, there's Tony.
Yeah.
Tony is our historian and member at large.
Okay. Do you know everybody on fiscal, or do you want to
can certainly refresh our memories here.
Or then you have Steve.
And
Dan Kaufman from the Affordable Housing Trust.
Great.
And Steve Marshall.
Nice to see both of you. Thank you for coming.
Chuck Wilbrenner with the fiscal advisory, fiscal.
Yeah, fine. You're on
Finance
fine.
committee.
Well, we can revisit
I'm in the
that
right
later,
place,
though.
Come to the dark side.
No, you cannot. Betsy Sullivan, finance.
Kathleen Glenn, finance.
Alex Chin, fiscal advisory.
Frank Holden, fiscal advisory.
There we go. Sorry. All right, and then you get, their names are underneath their lovely faces up there, so that's good. Look for the sales I've got, guy. All right, go ahead.
So we have an estimated revenue for fiscal year 2027 is $2,071,337. And the state reimbursement estimated at 16% will be $331,414. The estimated interest earnings $10,000 for a total of $2,412,751. Again, these are estimated revenues for the next fiscal year 27. In fiscal year 2025, the certified undesignated fund balance was $3,038,769. And correct me if I am wrong, but I see that the fiscal year 26 estimated undesignated fund balance is $4,157,099.
That's before we add in the estimated receipts that we anticipate collecting for FY 27.
Right.
So when we add, can you guys see my screen? Yep. So when we add in, hang on one second. Yep, those are FY 26 estimated receipts. We add in FY 27's, your estimated undesignated fund balance for by the end of FY 27 will be 5.5 million.
Any questions?
Yay.
Yes. Outstanding debt. We have the Harrington Farm, fiscal year 26 principal of 40,000 and interest of 12,900. And the Pink property, the fiscal year 26 principal of 100,000 with interest of $48,125.
Are you gonna pay that off?
I forgot when the term of that. Mary, do you know roughly when this
The maturity date,
yeah.
2037.
Okay.
Do you have an opportunity to pay it off before then, or?
Not yet. We're only a couple years into that. So typically the calls don't happen before year 10.
Okay, that was my question. Clumsily put. Thank you.
Any other questions on financial stuff right now?
What's your favorite part? It's much better though.
Mary, is that spreadsheet up on the finance committee website?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, but you're expecting to post?
Yep, I finish it. I'm trying to rework the format. It's pretty clunky because it's trying to put a calculation of fund balance together with a budget, and they should really be two separate things. So I'm trying to come up with a format that'll be less confusing.
Okay, thank you.
So for the first article, which is the operating fund, these would be the amounts. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this 194,825 is the amount we need to appropriate for debt service. And then the 120,138 is the 5% that is appropriated for the operating budget for a total of 314,963.
Thank you, Mary.
Sure.
Any questions? Guys, no?
Oh,
I have a question. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Betsy alluded to there's some new members here, me being probably the greenest. You know, I don't know if this is a Mary question or for the audience here. You know, Mary, you just highlighted, you know, potential fund balance of north of 5 million after receipts in the fiscal 27 budget. How does that balance compare versus history over the last like 10 years? You know, giving the override request of the town, you know, I'm curious at how that number fits with history because it seems like it's building to a pretty significant number.
So
Go ahead, Mary.
I'll just be brief and then I'll turn it over to Holly real quickly. But so Mark, you're right that fund balance is growing. It's growing in the more recent years faster than it had been in years past. And that is because communities can adopt a surcharge percentage of any amount up to 3%. The community had been at 1% for quite some time. And a few years ago, the town meeting approved an increase in that surcharge from 1% to 3%, which means that on an annual basis, we are generating substantially more revenue than we had in years past. And Holly can probably speak to the justification or the appeal for going from 1% to 3%.
The reason why we did this was when we first adopted the CPA, we chose to do it at the full 3% because if you were at 3%, you got additional layers of funding from the was it the deeds?
Trust fund.
Yeah, the trust fund. The years ago, because we had so many capital projects in town, the voters decided to reduce the surcharge down to 1%, which worked out fine. However, when we were doing things such as acquiring land, we ended up having to borrow for it. There were insufficient funds. There was also a tremendous interest in expanding improvements in recreational fields and so forth, and historic preservation projects and things like that. Also, affordable housing is certainly of front and center interest with this measure. And so the voters then approved to bring it back up to 3%, and certainly it has grown. And that's why these figures are higher than they were years ago.
Okay, and I know tonight we'll go through a number of opportunities to use these funds for the betterment of the town. But how often does the town review what the surcharge is with respect to what the needs are? Just pretty cognizant of the fact that we're asking the citizens of the town to approve a pretty big override when the surcharge has been increased and is now building up, you know, a pretty healthy amount, I think. I don't have any historical numbers. So they're kind of funding two things. So just asking the question. So I'm just curious how often that surcharge is reviewed.
Annually, constantly. It's just, I think, you know, the committee is certainly very much aware of what is going on with the town and so forth, and also the needs that the CPA can address. Certainly, there are a number of projects that CPA can cover that, you know, could come out of the town's general budget. This can take some of that burden, you know, off the general fund. And in a way, you know, I think we look at this as a partnership with the town. And certainly this is the town's money. And it addresses affordable housing, it addresses recreation, open space preservation, and Yeah, historic preservation. Certainly, this town has historic buildings that the town actually owns. And plenty of recreational needs here, certainly a housing need. I think it's just, we're trying very hard to see how we can put this money to work and work with other committees in town so that we can certainly make the best use of this revenue.
Thank you.
And Holly, I think maybe mentioning the fact that it's the leverage is what we put aside with the contributions from the state. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the nice thing about this is that over the years, we have acquired a significant amount of money from state matching funds. I can pull that number up. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's sizable.
Mark, did you want to go any deeper into that? We can get to the history of
No, we don't, I'm looking forward to hearing all the ideas and how it can benefit, the town as was articulated.
great. Okay.
Love to hear all the opportunities.
All right.
If I'll take one quick second. So based on what Holly was talking about, if you guys can see the spreadsheet on my screen here, this is the most recent information that was released by the state in terms of the trust fund distribution matches. And as Holly was talking about, if you look at these three columns here, round one, round two, round three, for communities that have adopted the highest percentage of the surcharge, the 3%, as Holly indicated, communities that do that are eligible to receive additional funding in future rounds beyond round one. And you'll see some of these other communities who do not receive that additional distribution in rounds 2 and 3. But because we are at the top surcharge, we do receive additional distributions. So for in November of 2025, the town of Duxbury cumulatively has received $387,000 in distributions for that one single year. And then historically, you can see over here what our previous matches have been in prior fiscal years.
I will add also that we have received over $11 million in state matching funds since 2002. And we have appropriated roughly around $30 million for CPA projects.
Excellent.
Great. Okay, keep plugging.
Okay,
I'm a-
so you want to, Betsy, are you going to vote the articles as we go through them individually?
Sure.
So do you do Article 23 that I just showed you?
Do you want to?
We're not voting tonight.
You're not voting tonight? Okay, great. Why don't we do this? Could you make a motion for Article 26, please?
Move to approve Article
Is it 23
26.
now?
Huh?
Article 20.
I'm sorry, my numbers are different. You guys can call it what you have in your book if you could just read the title. And
Certainly, Mary, is Article 26, CPC Operating Fund.
yes,
Okay, move to approve Article 26, CPC Operating Fund.
Do you want a second? Or-
Second.
Okay, and we have to do a roll call. So JR,
JRI.
Eddie,
Aye.
oops, I got to, Mark,
Mark, aye.
Al,
Aye.
okay. And JR, Mark. Yep, all right. Aye, Betsy, aye.
Kathleen, I.
Aye.
Great. Okay, Chuck, aye, sorry.
so how many is that? Is that 700?
Yep.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm sharing my screen for the second article, which is the allocations.
Thank you, Mary. Move to approve Article 24, CPC allocations. Chuck.
And so we're gonna-
We're going to discuss this a little bit.
Yeah, why don't we discuss?
Okay, copy.
Yeah.
Just want to,
Yes.
sorry about that.
So getting back to what Mark was talking about, how much of this actually goes into, can you give us an example of what affordable housing what we've seen from affordable housing?
That's a good question. I think, Dan should be addressed that question as well. For affordable housing, there has been about 502 million, no, excuse me, $3.5 million has been appropriated for affordable housing since 2002.
And where are these houses?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think what I want to point out also is the reason why housing hasn't received as much money as, say, open space or historic preservation is because there were additional sources of funding for them. But Dan, if you want to follow up on that.
Question, where are the houses? Some of it's land. We have land on East Street that we have enough in RFP right now. We have land on Laurel Street, Temple Street, that again is something that will be worked on this year in terms of an RFP. See, Habitat for Humanity House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
various houses around town, Habitat for Humanity.
You're gonna have to speak up, because if I can't hear you, the owl definitely can.
Okay,
Thank you.
Habitat for Humanity houses spread out around town.
Yep.
And we've been in touch with them. They're anxious to do some more projects with us, so we are working on what we call odd lots, which are individual lots in town that we believe can meet the affordable housing zoning requirements. So we're gonna make a consultant review that right now, and we hope to come back with some proposals for individual homes with potential habitat.
And then in the last 3 years, there were also two, what I'll call money articles. One was for $10,000 that was used for updating the subsidized housing inventory and for working on an RFP. And there was $100,000 allocated to update the town's housing production plan. That came in well under budget of $22,000, and the $78,000 balance has been returned to the town, or to the obviously to the CPC. I believe it's in the housing escrow, if you will.
So I guess my point is, we kind of like stockpiling this money right now in for affordable housing?
Well, I mean, yes, I mean, the Affordable Housing Fund itself has a certain amount of money in it that is sitting there until they need it, or if there's something, another.
So there's two sources. There's the bucket that's with CPC for the Affordable Housing Trust, and then there's the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which sounds so eerily familiar, this like it's the same, but they're two separate sources. And which is then tied to some zoning that if somebody's trying to build a subdivision of more than X numbers, they either have to put an affordable unit in or contribute to this fund. And although the contributions, I'm not sure when the last one was made, but there was some built up there as well.
We have about $900,000 in capital right now. We have one property that's in litigation right now that we hope to acquire later this year. That'll cost $462,000, so that depletes that fund rather substantially. Those other funds have been used to, move along with some of these other projects that Steve mentioned. We have a list of 12 different things that we have on our agenda for the next, 3 years.
So when you get this land, you sign for affordable housing, then you bring a developer to.
You bring in a developer, put out an RFP, accept bids. We tell the developers what we'd like to have on the property. Select a developer and move forward with them. We'll ultimately sell them the land. They'll do the development. We're really a conduit for providing this land and moving it along to that. And we hope to move on the East Street project this year, get that done, and move that off. And then Laurel Street is the next one after that to move along, hopefully, right behind East Street. And then, as Steve mentioned, there are odd lots and there are several other projects, including the property that's in litigation, which would require some additional funding from the CPC. But we're not asking for that money yet. We want to get essentially the spade work done before asking for that additional funds. But the work that we're doing now, and we have an article later on tonight asking for $50,000 to allow us to move forward with these 3 of these projects to get all the groundwork done so that we can then move forward with those projects, move them along. And then we would come back for subsequent allocation of capital for those new projects.
Would the utilization of odd lots require any zoning changes?
The consultant will review these lots and first look at them, it appears that they could meet the affordable housing zoning requirements of the town. But our consultant review that and confirm if that's the case. These are privately held lots. People own them, they can't sell them.
Right, I understand.
And they could meet the affordable housing zoning, so there's a possibility of being able to do something there.
There are actually over 100 lots that fit that description. And Steve's been through them and narrowed it down to 4 particular lots that he thinks, could hopefully meet that criteria. And our consultant is reviewing those right now.
And thank you.
Great, thanks.
Okay,
Hey,
Sorry.
Mary, just for clarification, like this operating or this $700,000 number, that's the summation of, all of the kind of requests that you sent us a few weeks ago to review?
No, so you're talking about the allocations, the article here are, that we're looking at, Mark, is that correct?
Well, that 723,000 number.
So, what that is I'm gonna, stop sharing and I'm gonna show you the spreadsheet again. So that you can see what happens. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens, Mark, is we calculate the estimated receipts that we anticipate generating for FY27. And then the CPA regulations state that the town can appropriate a minimum of 5% of those estimated receipts to establish an operating budget. And so that's what we do. So in the previous article, you voted the $120,138 to establish the operating budget. Then we have to provide for the amounts that we need to pay for debt service. So these two buckets here, if you will, were in the previous article for the operating budget of CPC. And then the CPC regulations, the framework then states that a minimum of 10% of the estimated receipts needs to be appropriated to each of the 3 reserves that make up the CPC fund. Those reserves are open space, historical preservation, and affordable housing. So 10% of our estimated revenues will then be directed into those purposes and restricted for those purposes. The remaining balance of our estimated revenues, so once we subtract off our $314,000 for the operating budget, and we subtract off the 723 that we have now just dedicated to specific purposes, that remaining balance of 1.3 will then go into the undesignated fund balance. So it is the 723 is not for the projects that we're going to talk about tonight. It is monies being dedicated to specific purposes. And then Holly and her group are going to talk about the projects, and they are going to talk about where the funds are coming from. Some of the funds will come from each of these 3 different purposes: open space, historical, or housing. And for projects that don't fit cleanly into those 3 buckets, the committee has the ability to use that $5 million worth of undesignated fund balance.
Okay, perfectly clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
You got it. So I've stopped sharing. Do you need those numbers again, FinCom, in order to vote this next article for allocations?
no, I think it's pretty clear.
Mary, the number again was 24?
The article
Yes, please.
in your booklet that you're working from, it's Article 27. The new number will be 24, but if you just call it CPC allocations, that will work.
Okay, move to approve CPC allocations.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor, JR,
JRI.
Betty,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Buckeye.
Chuck, Betsy, I.
Kathleen, I.
Okay, 700.
I'm here now, Betsy. It's
Oh,
Ashley.
Al,
Aye,
you wanna? Aye?
Sure.
Okay,
Yep, I heard that one.
okay, great, thanks, Ash. All right, so it's 800,
Got it. Thank you.
no worries. Okay, next.
What are we on next?
Allison.
Ellison's Playground
Okay, thank you.
surfacing.
All right. The Ellison Playground, let me just point out that the committee has not finally voted on this yet because the numbers have changed
When are you meeting again?
next week.
Thursday.
Right, excuse me.
So we're gonna be taking a couple of others. What time are you meeting on Thursday? What time do you all meet?
8:30 in the morning.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna swing by next Thursday night, maybe we can defer that and we'll vote it then, after you voted. Is that all right?
Perfect.
Okay. All right, so Mayor, we're gonna defer that to Thursday with the other couple ones that are asked to be moved.
Okay, okay, we don't want to look at that then. Okay.
This Thursday. Okay.
Okay,
Next is the
unless somebody, is that all right? Okay, we're
Yeah.
good with that. All right, the wallpaper is gonna be Thursday.
That's Thursday.
I've received a request, the Duxbury Rural Historical Society has their annual meeting tonight, so they were unable to be here for this and felt as though they really would like to speak to the article, so why don't we wait? Affordable Housing Trust Administrative Funding. Do you want Dan to hit it? Sure. There you go. I knew you guys weren't here just because you missed me. Thank you.
What Steve's passing out is a summary sheet that we use. It identifies the different tasks that we have, identifies the costs associated with each of these tasks and what the outcome or the result will be. And what you see is 12 different projects that we have at various levels of consideration. If we were to receive the $50,000 appropriation that we've asked for, we would intend to use it primarily for the first three items on the list. And just to use an example, tell you what you were looking at. You see the 12 different projects, 3 in the first stage, 3 more in the second stage, and the balance in the third stage. You'll see numbers 1 through 10 across the top. And then down on the left, there's a task category that corresponds to each of those numbers. So for instance, task category number 1 is research consultant, an estimated cost of $6,500. So what that says is the Laurel Street development, in order for us to proceed, the money we would spend would be $6,500 for a consultant to help us with the development of the RFP. And then you go through.
Excuse me? Is this available for us to see on Zoom?
Unfortunately, I don't have a computer with me.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is where I high tech and take a picture of it and I'm gonna text it to all of you, all right?
Okay, good.
Send
Thank
it to
you.
me, Betsy. I can broadcast it.
Go ahead, Dan.
Should have been better prepared.
So I'm sorry, I'm a little lost in your spreadsheet. Are you down here?
Yes.
You're down here, okay.
Yeah.
These match what goes
The
across
under
the top.
task category.
These numbers come from you.
Okay,
The
thank
numbers
you.
across the top, on the top section, DHT Administrative Expense Task List. Below that, you see 1 through 10. Those are 10 different tasks that could potentially be done for each of the listed items. So for instance, Laurel Street development, if it were to go through and we were to complete a research consulting work, property survey, site plan, or INRAD rather, et cetera, all the way across where it's a blue mark, you see, for instance, on Laurel Street, we are doing one, we'd have a research consultant. Number 2, we'd have a property survey on that. Number 3, site plan or INRAD, we don't need one for that
Okay, I
property.
gotcha. I'm
So,
following.
Where it's filled in,
Thank
you know, and then it totals across to the right-hand side. So you'd say Laurel Street development, we expect to undertake 9 of the 10 tasks at a total cost of approximately $23,400. The end result of that would be to help us prepare the property to be developed as an assisted living facility.
Thank you very much.
And then we have the odd lot property review that Steve has mentioned, down from 100 to 4 sites. We have a number of things that have to be done there, including the research consultant. Number 4, legal and title review. Number 5, the RFP. And then across, that would say a total of $6,500 would be spent for those activities. The end result is we hope to generate between 1 and 4 additional housing, SHA housing units. The third item is the East Street sale. We have that property right now, subject to an RFP that we've got a group working with us on that. We've got a number of things done there. We spent a lot of money on the property already. Property is owned by the trust. And what we need to do there is we have to have a property survey done. We have to have the INRAD done. And then we have several, 6, 7, 8, and 9, legal review, land development agreement, legal fee for closing, and an appraisal done. Total cost of those items would be $22,500. And the result would be that we hope to have a 40B development there, produce, hopefully 2 or more units of affordable housing. But there's a substantial amount of land that would be dedicated to conservation. There are 39 acres there, and 24 or 25 acres will ultimately be dedicated to conservation. The balance or some portion of that we've done for affordable housing. And so these are,
I'm sorry.
go Steve.
And we have selected a developer, are in negotiations with him now for the East Street property.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of issues to resolve, the environmental issues, size of the project. But we are moving forward with that and are hopeful that we'll be able to reach agreement and start a project there.
How do you pick a developer if you haven't had an RFP?
We had an RFP.
Oh, so they've already,
Went out to an RFP,
Yeah.
we had 18, frankly, we had 18 groups ask for the RFP. We had 1 respondent.
really?
It's frankly a tough piece of land.
No kidding.
Yes, yeah. Stating the obvious, but, right now, Nancy's been helping us get an ANRAD done for that property, so we know exactly how much land is there and how it can be developed, and the limitation of the amount of land that's there that really makes sense, the proposal from the developer was for a larger development. We don't think that'll work, it's not gonna work. They actually took more land than we anticipated, in their plan. And that's why we need the ANRAD to be able to define more specifically the exact parameters of the land. There's some bog area there, some so-called man-made bogs that may or may not exist. And again, with the help of the ANRAD, which the trust is funding, somewhere like $3,000 or $4,000, Nancy, give or take, we'll be able to define exactly the land. We also have some soils conditions that have been identified recently, and we're in the process of determining the value and the impact of those soils conditions. And with those 2 pieces of information, we hope to be able to finalize a plan for the development of at least a portion of that site and provide at least 2 housing units of affordable housing.
Chuck, you have a question?
Can you just explain what INRAD is?
Yes, it can better than I can.
It's an abbreviated notice of a resource area delineation. So it basically is having somebody go out to the site and determine exactly what's wetland, what's a resource area, what's
Okay.
upland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Mark has a question. Yeah.
Mark?
Yep, thank you. I obviously, the capital used for affordable housing is probably one of the best use of capital that we have in the town. So you highlighted 100 potential odd lots, you've narrowed down to 4, you're asking for 50. Like, why not, giving the account balance over 5 million with receipt of fiscal 27 funds, like, why not ask for 100 and try to do a half dozen lots?
I think there are two good reasons for that, at least in our opinion, good reasons. One is that, the practical matter is we can't just take more lots there. It's not like there's an inventory there and we could just take them because we'd like them. There are a criterion in size and configuration, et cetera, and location that will limit the number of lots that we can have. And it's been our estimation that of the 100 that are out there, there were probably 4 that are worth, spending some time on. So we want to spend our time efficiently and get something done. We want to get it accomplished. And then secondly, I think that we really owe it to the town to move through East Street and to get these projects off of our books and get them out to and get them done so that we can then come back with some, reasonably good progress. Our intent is to have development of affordable housing spread across the town, not to have a large one, some people say, well, why don't you build one location, go 5 stories up and build 90 units? Well, that's not Duxbury. That's not what our intent is. And so we are trying to find individual sites. We want to move through East Street, want to move through Laurel Street, get those done, identify these other locations. There are some other things that we're thinking about that are on the list. But again, we need to get these other things done first so that we can move on to the next project.
Thank you.
And Mark, I think that's been the frustration of the Affordable Housing Trust and also with the town is that, you know, there was a period of time where land was accumulated, East Street being one of them. And they posed as many problems as they did solutions. So I think that it's certainly a great to hear that they're taking it slow and trying to get something accomplished and build on that.
I wouldn't be so presumptuous as try and bore you with the rest of the page, but I just wanted to, it is something that we're using as a tool to help us, you know, stay focused and stay on tack. And you see, generally speaking, where the money would be, you know, allocated. You also see, of course, that we're likely to be back next year, you know, and for more, you know. And then at the bottom, you see as well some notes. And you'll see, for instance, the notes correspond to individual projects. And for instance, on lot property review, note number 3, the capital cost for any on lot purchase would require a separate CPC request, potentially $100,000 or more for each of those locations. So just to say that once we get our homework done on some of these things, we'll be coming back, you know, ask for capital to do some of these and implement them as well. And again, this is, as I described it earlier, kind of the spade work to get us to the point where we can come back and use some of that money that we know has been allocated into what I call the housing escrow.
Holly, anything you want to add to that?
There has also been discussion about, you know, utilizing this money for CPA money for paying for an administrator, a housing administrator who can really facilitate this whole process.
Yeah.
And even somebody that we could share, you know, with another town. You know, there's definitely a need for this and has been. Seems
in response to that, and in recognition of the fact that, you know, it'd be a very difficult time to come to the town and ask for, you know, an addition to staff, if you will, even if it was here. We have engaged a consultant who is helping us with, you know, some of these things, and where we showed the consultant relationship. 2 of these projects, 2 of the 3 projects have already been allocated to him, and he's working on those right now. And we spoke with Rennie about the idea of a housing administrator at some point, and that's, you know, out there. But in the interim, I think a good outside consultant with a lot of experience is somebody who can really help us to push these, you know, forward and get them done efficiently, you know, in the absence of any kind of a full-time or part-time, you know, administrator.
And I'm noticing that about half the cost is legal costs. And where do you get your legal services? Is that a special place you go to?
Well, we have most of the work, well, for instance, the work on the East Street property has been done by KP Law.
Okay.
You know, so, and Bob Galvin also represents the trust on a number of matters, but you know, in that particular case, you know, it was KP Law. In the litigation we have, it's a combination of KP Law and Bob Galvin.
Thank you.
I might have missed this earlier. Is this a sort of a full inventory of the projects the group is working on?
Oh, there are other things that are out there.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the, you know, frankly, you know, we can give you a much longer list, but I think it's most appropriate to give you a list of things we really think that we can get done now.
Okay.
And show you how doing those now will, you know, set us up for, you know, further progress in the future.
I guess one sort of follow-up question that is, are we looking at, or have we looked at potentially updating zoning for the town to see if we can bring on some of the, I don't know, off-book apartments to bring into sort of the affordable housing number? I know that's been sort of talked about in the past. I just didn't know if it got any traction.
What you're really getting
about, and
I think the real answer to that is something that last year, when we didn't have a planning director, the housing production plan for the town matured, if you will, expired. And it fell to the housing trust to go out and get that done. And we coordinated that with others in town. It was approved by the planning department, planning board, and the selectmen sent to the state, and then it's certified by the state, and it's accepted for a 5-year period. That's important because it allows us to be protected under the 40B laws. And included within that are issues and recommendations for a housing administrator and for other programs that would, provide incentives along the lines you're talking about, and also incentives that could be tied to ADUs. Could we provide an incentive for people who are developing ADU units? If they will restrict them and make them affordable, we could use some funds to, help defer the cost of that. The historic cost of providing one subsidized housing unit in town has been something in the order of $200,000. It's an incredible amount of money. We think that doing something with ADUs, would allow us to do that for a lot less money. We also have, one of our trust members brought up the other night, the last meeting rather, the whole question of, are there other units in town, other people in town who have affordable units that are not on the rent? And they're affordable only because perhaps for whatever reason, they've agreed to, and they've only leased them to to owners whose median income is below the 80% threshold of the EMI, median income in town. And, she's actually, going to start looking at some of these things on an ad hoc basis to see if we can, introduce that idea to some people who have those units in town to add to the SHI. The SHI, and again, I don't want to bore you with all the trivia here, but, in order to get the 40B
10%.
issue resolved, we have to be at 10%. We are about 120 units below the 10% threshold right now. We have, a couple of things that we're looking at. One in particular is interesting. Bay Path has some units that potentially could be included in SHI. It was brought to our attention, and somebody pointed out that there are similar units in Hingham with Linden Ponds. And Linden Ponds has been a town has been able to include those in their SHI. They're over the 10% limit. We went to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities and asked the question, why can't we include Bay Path? And they said, well, Bay Path was developed after Linden Ponds, and therefore it didn't. The laws had changed. That's not true. Bay Path was there before Linden Ponds. So one of the assignments for our consultant is, help us get through the minutiae at the state level to, see if we can include those units. So we're looking for the opportunity to, turn over every stone in town, to get there. Our goal, most importantly, is to develop more units. It's not just a reclassification of existing units, although that may help us with the SHI and the 10% limit.
One final question.
Sure.
There was a
comment.
Sorry.
Looks like Al has his hand up.
Al's been very patient. Al?
Yeah, if I could, I would like to unpack what this gentleman just said. First of all, I'm very impressed with the presentation. What's outstanding about the presentation is this. He has basically spotted the character issues in the community, which is to take a look at developing affordable housing in a community where the average 1-acre lot is probably selling for north of $500,000. So that's point number one. Point number two, what is wonderful about the presentation is that when you build these on a single lot basis, it doesn't particularly identify people in a group like a 40B. What I need you to know is that I spent 25 years of my life as the comptroller of the Massachusetts Housing Finance Agency, which manages 40B projects. And I'm a big supporter. But I think what I'm hearing from the Affordable Housing Committee spokesman is a sensitivity about how things work best for a community that has a certain character. And I thought it wise, and I'm sorry to be going on so long, to unpack this and pull it apart, because I think this is the kind of approach that is thoughtful, reflective, follows the regulations, follows the law, is up to date with the latest thinking. And this is probably the best way that we can get to those affordable housing needs, where it's tough for some of our kids to come back to the community and live. So thanks for listening.
Thanks, Joe. Alex, do you want to
Just a quick
follow up?
question. I know there was a talk a couple of years ago, and I think it was a CPC article around a group home, veterans group home. It was gonna be on Lincoln Street. Is that project sort of still being talked about, or is that?
That, that's it.
Well, Kingstown, not familiar with just
Well, yeah.
a veterans home, but Kingstown Way, which we are hopeful that we will win this litigation and be able to develop that for affordable housing. We've been in touch with the state and they're very excited about this location. It's on Route 53, right on the Kingston line. And they're interested in doing they're interested in working with us to do a project that addresses Alzheimer's, veterans, and other individuals with intellectual disabilities. So they see it as kind of a mixed use kind of a facility. So we're hopeful we win this litigation and then can work with the state to make something happen out there at that property.
That sounds amazing.
Great.
I guess my last comment was, if we do something like that, especially in Kingstown Way, I would love to figure out some way to put sidewalks in with the project. 'Cause I think when we do some of these projects around town, it's that's the one thing that gets sort of
Overlooked.
You know,
I'll get off my soapbox now.
we've come to understand and appreciate that, people think about affordable housing, they think about, subsidized housing. It's not subsidized housing. And affordable housing is touching every element of the community. It's the young people coming back, getting out of college or getting jobs, moving to town. It's frankly the employees of the town. It's seniors who want to stay in town. We have a big house, but, and can't afford the taxes anymore, but they want to stay here in town. And there are people with disabilities. We've talked to the veterans agents. There are a number of veterans in town who would be desirous of housing like this. And as well, we've had conversations with groups about autism and other disabilities. And again, there is no place, for people, who happen to suffer from those kind of maladies to find a home here. And again, I think it's also consistent with the idea of keeping something small, so that we're not, marking people as, oh, they live over in this place or that place. It's spreading it around town and making it all part of the community that fits.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, all set? All right, can I have a move to approve motion, Article 30?
Move to approve CPC Affordable Housing Trust Administrative Funding.
Second.
Second, all those in favor, JR?
JRI.
Okay, Al,
Aye.
Betty,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Ash,
Aye.
Okay.
Chuck, Betsy, I,
Kathleen, I.
okay, 800.
Is friend there? Oh, that's
No.
right. That would make 9. Sorry.
Oh,
It's
that's okay.
it's Friend's birthday.
I know it. We should celebrate.
Well, I think he is
Yeah.
celebrating it, wild man. All right, so,
DCF?
we're gonna wait on the Brooks Athletic Fields investigation. That's, they're gonna come in on Thursday.
Yep.
So we're gonna delay on that one, is a Thursday, along with the wallpaper. And, you have been so patient. Isn't this so fun? You love it? Yeah, we have this much fun a lot. Article 32, Di Lorenzo Farm construction. Holly, did you want to turn it over to Amanda or?
Well, Amanda will do a fabulous job of presenting this.
If Amanda could spell her last name, I know that my friend Linda would be very appreciative.
MAFFEMBEN.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Let me just add, just a little preface here is that the town
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
The town purchased the 27.3 acre Del Lorenzo farm off of Summer Street in 2018, the CPA funds. It cost $770,000 with the goal of restoring the land to farming for the purpose of supporting agriculture, providing local produce and education. The land abuts the 140-acre historic O'Neill Farm and shares a hayfield area. CPA funds were also used for the drilling of a well and removal of debris on the site from the former turkey farm on the De Lorenzo property. There is no power on the site. So I'm going to hand it over to Amanda because she's quite familiar with the farm.
Well, it started out as a backyard farm. I will tell everybody in the room that chickens are the gateway. Get 6 chickens and you're just up and running and you're gonna have a farm. So we started out with growing produce and meat and eggs in our backyard, and very quickly outgrew the 1 acre of almost 1 acre of property that we were on, and saw the request for proposal for restoring this historic piece of agricultural land back to agricultural use. We saw this as a great opportunity to work with the town to bring this piece of property back to agricultural use, create that, complete that green belt. And also, create something that future farmers who come in after us would be able to use. Because right now, we came to the piece of property, there were no ag fields, there was no irrigation, there's no electricity, as was just mentioned. And this presented some challenges. It was overgrown. If you can scroll down a little bit. So we signed a lease agreement. The actual farmer is not here tonight. He's in a class. So he's I'm filling in for him. I'm his part-time worker on the farm. So the conservation department has spent CPC funding or CPA funding and other monies for clearing the property so that we have the produce field again, installing the 2 wells. And also silvopasture. There's a piece, there are several stands of wooded areas on the property that were just densely overgrown. And rather than clear cutting the entire piece of property, cleared those out. And we're now running animals through the one piece of silvopasture that is.
What is that silvopasture? What is silvopasture?
So rather than clear cutting and creating another open field, we left the trees in place. We took out a lot of the brush underneath, the junk trees, and we're now running animals through there. And as the animals go through the silvopasture, they're building soil, and eventually you can grow that into a food forest.
Thank you.
Yes. So, and also the trash removal. So go down a little bit more. So since doing that, we have developed one of the produce fields. There are 3 produce fields that have been laid out, and I'll show you the map in a minute. And we are making use of the hay field for growing meat chickens. We've also hayed the field. Some of that hay has gone to feed the sheep that are on the property. We have 2 high tunnels that we secured funding for, and we have one of them that's been constructed already and just recently certified. So we're going to be able to extend our growing season. The first produce field was in production this past summer. We were able to bring farm stands to the property. We do the Marshfield Farmers Market, but we're also doing pop-up stands on the property. And that's all that we can do right now because we don't have running water and we don't have the electricity. And people just absolutely loved it. So they show up, to get fresh produce.
I totally missed it.
You did. So we've been doing mostly Facebook posts. I think this year we're going to probably expand and put some announcements in the Flipper, since this is becoming a regular thing. It was very well received. We want to see how it's going to be received first.
Will you do a CSA?
We do a CSA.
You do a CSA now?
We do, a CSA called Chicken and the Woods, to play on words. We work with McGuire's Mushrooms and get mushrooms. So we have pasture raised eggs from our chickens. We have our pasture raised poultry, and then we get McGuire's mushrooms, and people who want to buy into the CSA can get deliveries or pickups actually twice a month. So we're doing CSAs as well. And we're going to add produce to that as we are growing more produce. This was kind of a trial year for us to see, what was going to work, what we could do with the drought conditions and the limited irrigation that we had on the property. Everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. As I mentioned, we have the 1 high tunnel that's been completely paid for. We've got the 2nd high tunnel that once things thaw out a little bit, we'll be able to pull the plastic over it. The frame is there. You can't pull plastic in cold weather like this though, or windy weather or rainy weather. So there are a lot of things that limit you. But as soon as things warm up, we're going to finish that one and get that certified to be green things. So other contributions, we had our first Eagle Scout project on the property. There are now 3 ADA accessible planting beds that people can come in, and the community can actually use them and help out with growing things on the farm. In addition to that, we worked with H. Cole in doing what she called Sunday suppers. She thought it was a great opportunity to engage the community, bring them onto the farm, help them to see what we're doing, and also to build on her branding. So we had an agreement with them, and what ended up happening is, in order to get that first produce field up and running so that we could actually provide produce for the Sunday suppers, there was an in-kind exchange of farm labor from the people who worked with her, instead of paying for the original agreed upon event fees for the farm. So that helped get things up and running.
What about the oven that you guys built?
Oh, that was one of the workshops we did. We had, last season, we had 7 educational workshops. Most of them revolving around permaculture, which is community agriculture. And one of them, we had somebody come down from Vermont and help to use all local natural materials to build a cob oven on the property. So there's this beautiful cob oven that's on the property now. And this summer, we're hoping to do pizza and a movie night and stuff like that. But it's we've tested it, makes great pizza. There's a rocket stove that we've used to heat soup for the volunteers who come to help out on the property, and hot chocolate and that sort of thing. I don't think I have a picture of the cob oven here, but you can see on the left-hand side, that's like the initial clearing of the produce fields on that top picture there. The lower picture is from, like, if you go onto the farm and down the farm road onto the back of the property, you're looking towards Route 53. That's what it looked like before, all overgrown, all invasive species. We put down lots of wood chips and cardboard in like a layering system to help suppress that weed bed, and also enrich the soil, bring put carbon into the soil, and then we put compost on top of that. So that first on the and now section, you can see the first produce field as it is just being born. You can see in the foreground one of the rows of the compost that was put down. We do already have things planted there. We had peas earlier in the spring. The top right picture is a picture of the completed high tunnel and all the snow clearing that we did this past week after the wonderful winter storm that we had. So one of the things that we had to come up with was a snow removal plan, because things can go sideways if you get too much snow on a high tunnel. You can see the chickens in the woods there. Those are our egg-laying chickens, and they have mobile coops that we actually move them through the woods. So we'll eventually have ducks on the farm too to eat the slugs, and then the sheep would go in and they would, browse down some of the vegetation that's underneath there, and they'd fertilize the soil. And then they're followed by the chickens, and the chickens, till up the soil and scratch in that great fertilizer. And also at the same time, they're making eggs for our customers. In that middle picture, you can see we had a surprise. We've got 8 sheep on the farm. We did not know that 2 of the first 3 sheep that we had were pregnant. So here we were around Easter, not this past year, but the year before. And we actually had a lamb on the property, and he's doing great. And in addition to pasture raised chickens, we did 31 pasture raised turkeys this year, and they all sold out. People can't wait until next season. So and scroll down a bit. So this is the site plan. This was part of the original proposal. You can see where the hay field is. The orange blocks there are the 3 produce fields. The one in the middle is where the high tunnels are. The one that is closest to Route 53 is the one that you saw that was actually developed. And then we have got the 3rd one that we're hoping to get developed either this season or the next season. And in the back, there's that little green patch, and there are 3 structures. One of the things that's missing from the property that would be really, really helpful right now, we have a lot of temporary housing for the animals. Obviously, things that are grown for meat are not, they're not gonna be around all year, so they have the temporary housing. Our chickens have the mobile coops, which work just fine. But it would be really helpful if there were a barn on the property, not just for us, but for anybody who might lease the property after us for equipment storage and livestock. So one of the things that we've proposed and we're hoping to build, with the funding that we've applied for is the first structure on the property, is that barn.
Would that include electricity?
There's no electricity on the property. So what we would have to do at some point in time is put solar panels on top of the barn, because we can't do ground solar yet. So that's one of the things that we would work on down the road. But right now, it's more for shelter and for storage. We've been managing to make do without electricity on the farm. The hardest part is the water at this point in time, but we're still managing to make that work as well, so. Right.
Where's the water coming from?
The 2 wells, so there's a well, yeah, if you go back to that map. Where those 3 smaller structures are. In that green area, one of the wells is back behind where those 3 structures are going to be. And so the other one is at the other end of the property, and hopefully within the next 5 to 7 years, we're gonna have a more permanent produce stand there.
What is the dollar amount for the barn?
We reached out to a bunch of people, and got quotes anywhere from, I think it was like $60,000 or $70,000 for a prefab slapping together kind of structure that's really not gonna last very long, which is not something that we're really interested in. Not a pole barn, it's more like a.
It's an enclosed barn.
Yeah, like a shed, like where they actually have the pieces of the shed.
Prefab.
Yeah, and we would assemble it when it got to the property. The materials that would go into that wouldn't last quite as long, especially if you have like sheep and chickens in the barn and you're storing materials and you have hay and stuff like that. So we got quotes anywhere from $80,000 for an actual built timber structure barn, all the way up to the Taj Mahal of barns, which somebody gave us a quote for $500,000, which I asked if I could move into it when it was done. So we're looking at anywhere from like $80,000 to $120,000 being reasonable for building a barn on the property. It's going to be a timber frame structure, which costs less than regular construction. And of course, without the running water and without the electricity, it's a much more simple build.
So how much are we looking at for CPC?
The request was for 80,000 plus a 15% contingency for a total of 92,000.
And did you all vote it?
I believe we did.
We did.
Yes.
Sadly, we did, yeah.
And the vote was
Unanimous.
in favor?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was trying to get to the punchline.
Which is why I'm here.
I think, one of the reasons also is that this barn essentially will be in the town's possession. It's not like they can take the barn with them if they decide.
Attached,
they're
if you
done
will.
or whatever. And that it would also make the site more attractive for future farmers.
Right.
There were.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely, Mark.
So please, a little bit of history. When I've researched this acquisition a little bit, it was pitched as a passive investment by the town to acquire this property. So how do we communicate this to the town that we now want to put structures up that are incremental to what was already there, when the pitch to the taxpayers were, this is a passive investment? Because now starting to build structures, solar panels may work, maybe we need to dig utilities. Now it becomes an active investment for the town. So how do we bridge between those two things? That it was acquired under the premise that it was going to be a passive investment.
You
And
keep
now
saying
we are
that
investing in building structures.
Mark, you keep saying passive investment like it's written somewhere. I don't remember that as being the pitch.
No.
No, I was always gonna be just to make it a farm develop it to growing produce and
Community farm.
a community farm,
farm.
which,
I think the closest comparison, if I remember the conversations correctly, were to similar to what we do with the cranberry bogs in town was, and we put structures on those
Yeah.
and do sort of the same thing to maintain the cranberry bogs so that if someone were to lease it again, you know, we would have that, it's not like.
there's some infrastructure to
There's
deploy.
infrastructure.
They don't go fallow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Are you concerned that the more we invest in it, the more we have to support? Mark?
No, I'm concerned we're asking to raise taxes on the town. And this was acquired, I was under the impression it was acquired under a passive a pitch that it was going to be a passive investment. And now we are investing in it with the CPC account building funds. You
But
know,
that's
it's
not-
kind of like, I don't know if you're going to say there's two separate things, but it's like we're building, a balance of over $5 million in this account that we're now because it's there, we want to build structures on something that was supposed to be passive. And at the same time, we're going to ask the town to pass an override to increase everyone's taxes. That's my concern.
All right, may I just again say, Mark, that this was acquired for agricultural purposes. And it also has access to Summer Street, Route 53, because, and that was important because then a farm stand could potentially be built for the public. And it is adjacent to the historic O'Neill farm. And they actually share a working hayfield out on the backside of it.
I'm kind of lost on, I understand you don't want to. It's they're asking for CPC money, which is available. It wouldn't be part of the levy. Since CPC is already, the surcharge is already incorporated into what we do. So it would just be a use of those funds that are currently available and would not impact the tax levy.
I understand, but the surcharge went from 1% to 3%. The balance has now grown to $5 million. It's still 3%. And, reading the CPA application from 2018, the 23-acre parcel known as Di Lorenzo Farm is for conservation, agriculture, and passive recreational purposes.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm concerned that in the sense that we're asking for our taxpayers for a lot. And
I think what I'm hearing from you is that your concern is the 1% to 3%. And what they're talking about is accessing funds that are already available. So they're kind of separate issues. And I'm not trying to shut you down on the other issue, but I think that you're commingling the issue, and what they're looking for is funds that are already available and access to something that we've already done.
correct. I think it's just a holistic view of how the funds are being used. And I was under the impression, I could be very wrong, that it was not the intent to keep investing on this property after it was acquired. It was intended to be a passive investment and restored to its former state, not improved upon. So if we're now using the funds,
I think you misunderstood that intent from the beginning. It's an and passive, it means people could go out there and walk around.
And people do. We've engaged with the community. We've had, like I said, we had the Eagle Scout project. We've had Cub Scouts come to visit and build bluebird houses. People walk through there all the time. We had one of the neighbors, when the weather was warmer, not now, who would come over on a regular basis to help close up animals at nighttime and collect eggs and feed the sheep and water the chickens and things like that. And the hope is that this barn will also be for the community, and give us an opportunity to engage with like 4-H programs, 4-H type programs, and just teach people about agriculture and give them opportunities to use the farm themselves. It is public access. There are walking trails that go through the backfield and through the historic O'Neill farm, and people are out there all the time, and they ask if they can be there, and we say yes, we'd love for you to be here because it's us on the farm, and this is town land, this is town property. So this is an opportunity I'm trying to find the language that was in. So I can find the language that was in the proposal. There was specific language in the proposal.
I think it's on one of your slides.
It is on one of my slides. I'm looking for the slides so I get it right.
Yeah, I think this might be more a question of the 1% to 3% versus.
I think
versus
it
the
is, and that's
passive use
fine.
of-
But
And I agree,
But I don't think that that's germane to this particular article.
I agree.
I mean, I get, we have certainly had discussions in the past of projects coming up, and we have a solid balance in the CPC undesignated fund balance, and are we just spending it because we have it?
Right.
And having done this for a long enough time, this doesn't seem like one of those projects. This seems like something that will, enhance an asset of the town, bring farming agriculture back to town in a meaningful way. And I think they're doing the same thing at the O'Neill farm. They're doing a lot of infrastructure work there, and there's a wave we can ride right now, going into the future. So that, having said that, I don't think this is one of those projects of like, hey, we have the money, let's just spend it.
It's not a vanity project.
It's not.
Get that in mind.
Yeah, my one
vanity project.
my one comment though
Those
is
chickens are sexy.
this adds a building to our inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have a history of not allocating the operating funds afterwards to maintain our buildings to the level that the taxpayers deserve. So that's my only 2 cents of this. Like, we need to sort of think through that of, how do we want to maintain this building going forward?
On the softer side, I would also suggest, and the reason why we were so excited about the purchase of it was that it was a place for the community to meet.
Yes.
And it provides a community spirit and a community, an opportunity for the community to be present with each other.
Right.
I found a specific language. It was actually further back on the slide. It says the town identified a need to support local farmers and to assist them with creating a successful working farm with the intent to enter into a partnership with one or more farmers to restore the property to original farming heritage. So, we've taken this on, and we're basically building the airplane as we're flying it. And trying to grow our farm business because, we love doing this. We love engaging with the community. Not all of the money that is going into this is coming from CPA funding or the town. NRCS funding has paid for the high tunnels. NRCS funding is going to pay for the perimeter fencing, to keep the livestock in. DCR has helped us pay for some of the programs that we offered this past summer. As I mentioned, we had 3 workshops, and four classes on the property, and we're going to continue to do that. So funding for the programs and for the structures on the property are coming from multiple places. NRCS funding is going to help us put irrigation on the property. Once that second high tunnel is completed, we'll be able to get an archaeological survey done. And then they'll be able to tell us, it's like, yes, we can put your perimeter fencing and you can put your your irrigation lines in and that sort of thing. So.
Can I ask a question? I just want to make sure I understood that correctly. So to that point, there are other funding sources that are being utilized and leveraged in order to build structures on this property. So there are going to be structures on this property without town discrete approval that we will then be responsible for maintaining. Is that what I just heard?
Well,
They're temporary.
Yeah, no, Mary, it's Nancy. The funding is coming from other places than the town, but there is a conservation restriction on this property since it was purchased using CPA funds, and the Wildlands Trust holds the CR, so any change has to be approved by the town and by Wildlands Trust.
But
So
I
they're
guess
not farms without approval.
yeah.
but with town approval, I guess I'm sort of expanding upon Mark's train of thought where you're being asked, the town's going to be asked to support the construction of a structure on the property, which, as Alex has so eloquently pointed out, that we struggle with, the long-term maintenance and upkeep of these structures. But now I'm hearing that there are other funding sources being sought after to construct structures. And since this is a town-owned property, ultimately we own those assets, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, Mark.
That's Mary.
Can I
Yes, please, God,
something?
yes.
So the CPC CPA has always been a kind of a tough one for me to swallow, but it seems to me that when we change back to the 1%, it was, in my opinion, at the time we started to look for more ways to spend this money that wasn't necessarily, at least in my opinion, the best. When we start replacing windows in a church, or when we put wallpaper on a historical structure, or build a barn for a farmer. What does the farmer pay for that property? To use that property?
They rent, Amanda.
Yeah,
It's a license. So I don't have it in front of me. Was it
Does he have any blood in this? Does he have any sweat?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, what I'm saying is we're spending the money, and granted, it's lovely to have a farm, but I have to also think of the O'Neill farm that we used to have open houses, and kids would go up and ride in tractors and look at the chickens and feed them grass. And now it's almost a closed, in my opinion, it's almost a closed thing, even though the town supports it, but we have a working goat farm there, which is okay. But it seems to me we're creeping away again. And I think a lot of Mark's comments are right. So currently, I don't think I'll vote for the barn. I don't think, but neither here nor there. Thank you.
It's true. I mean, it will become a town structure. And maintenance, you cannot use CPA money for maintenance. You can use it for some improvement and so forth, but not maintenance. But we have used CPA money to upgrade, improve other town buildings.
Girl Scout house.
Well, yeah, Tar Kiln, Wright Building, Town Hall, right? I mean, so many buildings in town. The library, it has definitely played a role in almost every facet in this community.
So are we doing, and I don't know what your contract is, and I love the farm and the whole concept. But I hear what Mark's saying, and by building these things, are you determining that the town is then responsible as a landlord tenant situation, that this property has now got a barn and the barn roof needs to be fixed. Are you coming to the town for the roof to be fixed?
I hadn't thought that far. I was thinking more in terms of the high tunnels where like this first high tunnel was built and the maintenance of this high tunnel is on us. You know,
Right.
we're the ones that are using it, so we're the ones that are gonna repair it if the plastic tears, and probably gonna be, you know, similar with the barn.
So
But
I
you-
was
you'll
thinking
all
of it
be
in
insurance.
terms of like we do with North Hill,
Well, for the bond.
that the tenant is responsible for, well, how much would you put in for North Hill?
Well, I mean, they come to us for we could kick in the air conditioner down the road.
Okay, well, maybe that's not a good example, but, yeah, Mark, I wasn't following what you were saying before, but I hear it, and with JR, we just don't want to have another building that we have to then maintain.
Can't that be in the next
Yes,
agreement with the
Yeah.
farm?
right, well,
Isn't
it's
that,
kind of like the barn's already there.
yeah, but.
I hear what you're saying, yes, that's kind of where I was
Can't we
saying.
amend the current one, possible? I mean,
Did you all talk about this at all, or no?
About maintenance of the,
Of whatever, when you build this thing, who's gonna maintain it?
so we're talking about roughly a 900 square foot building.
Okay,
You know, roughly 34 by 24, 36 by 24. It's sort of one of the proposals that we're looking at. This is not a large barn. You know, our feeling about this is that what is a farm without a barn? I mean, if you've got animals there and so forth, and you've got hay and feed to protect, you need some sort of a structure.
Or even just with produce fields having some place to put equipment.
oh, nobody's debating if you
Yeah.
need it or not, it's
So-
just who's gonna pay for it.
And again, it stays with the property.
Yeah.
You know, regardless, you know, if there's a future farmer on there, you know.
So if CPC didn't pay for it and you paid for it and your lease ended and you left, we'd still be responsible for the barn.
Or let go
Or
back.
whoever
Oh,
leases the
Probably
farm.
they can move
I
it,
mean,
it's a
we're-
900 square foot,
Huh?
it's not a big building.
No, it's not a big building.
So-
I,
You know, I grew up on a farm, you had multiple barns.
Hmm.
You don't put a lot of money into the barns, they just,
Yeah.
you don't, they're not a big maintenance item, it's not like a house.
And this one doesn't
Our
have
house
just
was very good.
Yeah,
Right,
we
yeah.
are, I mean, we're caring for everything that's on the property. You know,
right,
we-
I agree with you, I think so, and I think, but that's the conversation, and it's good to have the conversation here.
Yeah.
Because you might have it at town meeting, and you don't wanna just be, have that be the first time you hear it.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand that. You know,
But But you do, in this thing, it does say it's a 900 square foot livestock pole barn.
That's
does
what
it say
I,
pole barn?
It says
yeah,
pole,
that's why I mentioned pole barn.
I thought that was
which is different than a barn.
Yeah,
It should just be barn. Pole barn isn't like one of the things that we're
That's
looking
right.
for down the
Yeah.
road, but this is not gonna be the.
because
pole
when I
barn.
think of pole barn,
Yeah.
being a Midwest girl.
Yeah,
Right, it's a very different structure than a barn.
yeah, this is a barn, this is
Timber
not a pole
frame.
barn.
That's a
Yeah,
technical
timber
term for a real barn.
Yeah.
It's a barn.
Yeah.
We're thinking more timber frame, not.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, so I did not realize that the article said pole.
Yeah,
barn.
no, I just,
Yeah, I thought I was dreaming it, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, but we're taking responsibility for the maintenance of all the structures on the property and making sure that they're properly maintained, that, you know, the areas around them are cleared and you know, they're not being damaged. You know, we do have insurance, we will carry the insurance for the barn, so if
I would
there's,
think that would be in your agreement with the town,
yeah, it's in the agreement,
so,
yeah.
and the CPC voted in favor of this.
huh?
The CPC
Yes.
voted in favor. of
Yes.
this.
Unanimously.
Yeah, but I'm fine with it, I
Let's-
mean,
Let's vote.
yeah, let's vote, I think we've kind of beaten it to death.
Okay.
All right, then, can I have a motion?
Yes.
Is anybody else, wait, I don't want to cut it off, anybody else that's remote that wants to say anything? Okay,
Brian has-
Brian.
oh, I'm sorry, Brian,
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the discussion. Lots of important points raised tonight, and I appreciate everybody's concern about the override. And Mark, thank you for your comments about being careful with the money, because of course we all are, and we need to be. I just wanted to provide a little bit of perspective on this, and I won't belabor the points. I know you want to get to a vote. But I will disclose that I am a very happy CSA customer of this farm. Great eggs, great chicken comes out of it. I know it's local, but I just wanted to highlight the point. And I was skeptical when the town first proposed buying this property in the first place. It was going to be a subdivision, or it was likely going to be a subdivision. And the Conservation Commission, with CPA funds, saved it from development with the purposes of redeveloping it as a farm. It was a farm many, many years ago. It had become overgrown. It's adjacent to O'Neill Farm. It is publicly owned, and this is why I wanted to address it. It's a very unique circumstance in town in that it's really a public-private partnership right now, where we've agreed with Brett and Amanda for their blood, sweat, and occasional tears to rebuild or rehabilitate this land into a working farm over a period of time, at least 10 years. Conservation has been terrific in providing monetary and in-kind resources. DPW, I know, has been out there as well. Open Space has been a big supporter. It's intended to be a town amenity long-term. And I think that the real question before what's going to be before town meeting with respect to this funding request is should we be investing in this structure? And the reason I comment at this point is, and Amanda, I don't know that you've had an opportunity to speak to this directly, but in your 10-year development plan, it does contemplate that at some point there would be a structure here, which is really necessary for you and Brett to achieve the ultimate goals that I think the town generally wants to see. You've made terrific progress so far, but you can only take it so far with, as we've described, no electricity, no direct water. You got to use the wells. I think you've done a great job making do with what you got there. So I think the big question right now is, yes, the town has actually invested a great deal in this to get it this far. And the question specifically is, should we use some CPA funds for the purposes of building the barn? I'm personally supportive of this, and tomorrow's select board meeting, we take this up. I'm going to vote in favor of this. I think it's an excellent use of town resources, given the town's vision of what we're trying to do long-term on this property. So I absolutely understand where everybody's coming from on the pennies, and I completely agree. But I also want to make sure we're keeping an eye on the long-term goal of what the town intends for this property to be as a resource long-term. I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you.
Nope.
Yeah, yes.
All right, so we have, I see that the chat, Candace, can you not talk?
No, she wants Ling to get promoted. I think Ling has been on and off the
Yeah, the call.
the call.
Can we promote Ling?
Yeah.
Well, Ling has declined.
Oh.
Ling declined being promoted. Kind of chippy.
That request was from about 20 minutes ago.
It is, I'm not ignoring you. It's just really hard when the remote up there to see who wants what. So, I apologize. I would never ignore Ling. But, I guess I did.
There.
Oh, are you there, Ling?
Come off mute, Ling.
Ling, you're promoted. Okay.
I'd like to say one more thing. We're having February Farm Days. It's going to be in tomorrow's Clipper. I'm going to post it on Duxbury, the farm Facebook page, and things like that. So during the month of February, everybody is welcome to come over to the farm on Saturdays from 10 to noon, just to walk the farm and see what we've done, and to have a conversation with, the farmer himself, who's made this his full-time job, building this farm for the town and for our own business. But yeah, just stop by. We're gonna clear out the parking area, we hope, by Saturday, and just come see what we're doing.
Candace, did you want to say something?
Ling's on.
Ling's still muted, so.
There he is.
Oh, Ling! Ling. Mother of sweet God.
Allow technology.
Yeah,
I did-
okay.
I just wanted to make sure he was texting to us, so I wanted to give him the ability to speak if he wanted to.
Yeah,
Yep.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I coming through?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Lane, I didn't like you were trying to get on. I'm clueless, so sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure I could enable my microphone. I was having a problem with that. I think it finally uncorked itself. No, I think I just shared something with the group, internally, is that, the notion of investing in this barn or not, I don't think it really, the notion of it being, a passive investment or not, it really depends upon how the barn is used on that property and so forth. So, it doesn't, by in and of itself, make it so that it's no longer considered a passive investment. That, and the notion of how that applies in terms of public land, and might not be the same as it would be in private investment. So, those are only comments I want to add to that. And again, Betty, I think you nailed it. Excuse me, Betsy, you nailed it when you said, it's really two different things. When you're talking about, whatever the percentages that that we're collecting from the from the community in terms of this public fund, and whatever the cost is for this and how much money they have, is they're really different topics, and we should be careful not to conflate them. So that's what I had to bring to that.
Thank you.
Parks.
Where are we? Oh, Mark, I'm sorry. Yep.
Yep, thank you. You caught me. I do agree they are different buckets. The CPA has the funding, they should be able to use it to the betterment of the community. I do think, though, the surcharge should be reviewed, giving the CPA has a solid balance. I don't see the benefit right now of why that balance should continue to grow while we're while we're asking the community to pay higher taxes to support other needs in the town. So CPA has the funding. The barn is not a huge ask relative to probably its benefits on the farm, but I do think there should be a broader holistic discussion on the 1 to 3%.
Okay, thank you. All right, can we vote? No? Oh, go ahead.
Move to approve
Oh, good girl.
Di Lorenzo Farm Barn Construction.
Second.
All right, let's start. JR.
I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Okay, Al?
Yes.
Okay, Teddy?
No.
Okay. Ashley?
Yes.
Okay. Chuck?
Yeah,
Mark.
here.
Oh, Mark, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, did you think I was,
No worries. I'm gonna abstain on this one.
oh, okay. All right. Chuck?
Aye.
Okay. Betsy, aye.
Kathleen, yes.
Okay. So we've got, so five yes,
5 to 3.
five,
2
five twos and one abstain.
Who abstained?
Mark.
Mark did.
Oh, I thought, okay.
All right,
So no.
great.
That was enough.
And previews of coming attractions so that you can be prepared for a conversation if it comes up, so that it's not a surprise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, cool. So that was unexpected, and that is 5 yes, 2 no, and 1 abstain. All right, so now we're on to the Bay Farm accessibility trail benches and parking.
Okay. Former representative, excuse me, Josh Cutler secured $40,000 of ARPA funds, which is the American Rescue Plan Act, for an accessible trail at Bay Farm.
Thanks, Amanda.
Have a good night. Thank you, everybody.
Pat Brennan of PGB Engineering developed a plan for a proposed trail, which will follow the existing trail that runs through the middle of the field and ends at the shore. The slope must be at least at or less than 5% and 8 feet wide. Roughly 8 inches of topsoil will be excavated and then covered with stone dust. Parking lot will be graded and an interpretive sign will be designed and placed near the parking lot, as this was a site of the Patuxet tribe of the Wampanoag Nation. Thanks to Sheila Lynch Benton, who pointed this out. 1 or 2 benches will be placed near the terminus of the trail. Per the 1989 Memorandum of Understanding between Duxbury, Kingston, and the Department of Environmental Management and Mass Audubon, approval is to be secured from these entities. The Massachusetts Historical Commission was contacted and they determined that, excuse me, that an archaeological survey was not necessary for this site. The request is for 45,000.
No map.
Mary is on, I think, can you open the file that you're on right now, Mary? The plan dated 11/20.
This is part of the Emerald Necklace of Nine. Boston.
Yes, I would like that.
Sense.
Public garden adjacent.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of the Bay Circuit Trail.
Yeah, Bay Circuit Trail is one of the terminuses.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe if you can zoom out a little bit.
Is there gonna be a map at town meeting?
Yes, we'll definitely make sure there's.
Thank you. It'd be helpful.
So the bay is on the right side where that red dot is, and the parking lot is on the left side. Originally, the idea was to bring a trail further north, but we decided it was just, a bit too lengthy, complicated, and so forth, and why not just use the existing trail that is there, the main trail that runs right through the middle of this, big field, and to make it accessible.
When you say accessible, you mean ADA, you mean?
ADA.
Okay. But we don't get involved in providing, like down at the water, like the beach, the wheelchairs with the big wheels, or people are responsible for accessing that availability themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat eroded down there. It's muddy. Anyone that has mobility issues, I'm not sure if they really would like to go down there. It's difficult for people who don't have those challenges. It's kind of mucky.
It's mucky.
So, but it's a lovely view. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's historic. It's been favored by so many people for decades.
Okay, 45. And your vote?
Oh, all in favor.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
So I've never walked this property. But I do know that people use it year round. In terms of snow removal, are we expecting or anticipating that we're going to have to do snow removal on these paths in the wintertime?
That would be a Nancy question.
I mean, we don't do that now. Burden of the DPW.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm not sure the surface was supported. Yeah.
Why don't we phrase that another way, Mary? We're not gonna be responsible for
No, we will not be doing
that.
That would be ideal. Thank you.
We don't want to create the impression that we were thinking we were.
But you should go and check it out.
There, I might have sent, did I send 2 more images?
Did I will pull those up right now.
Photo, and then there's I think I grabbed an image from Near Map.
Hang on one second. Can you see the picture on my screen?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yes.
pretty.
So that's leading down the path. You can see there's a boardwalk. It is quite wet, so this will help everybody really, because it's a real challenge for us to keep these boardwalks safe. We're constantly trying to either repair individual boards. We did have an Eagle Scout from Kingston that worked on that one. But you can see in the front of the picture, even there, it's pretty wet. And then I think I might have sent you another image that's just the overall, yeah, so the main trail up the middle is the one that we're talking about. The little offshoot, I think that's Laney Ladd's tree that it would go past. Yep. So the funding that we got from Josh Cutler was a $40,000 grant, but in working with Pat Brennan to design the trail, that wasn't nearly enough to cover the parking lot improvements, the trail, and then the viewing area with the benches at the end. So the ask is 45.
What are they gonna do to the trail? It's gonna be down stone and rock, or
It's like that stone dust.
stone dust?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Does this budget include extra supply of that material for maintenance? Because we know the first couple of years it's going to need to be graded a couple of times and backfilled with material. So does this budget include that?
There is a contingency built in, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Yep.
Let's move to approve Bay Farm accessibility, trail, benches and parking.
Second.
Okay, JR.
JRI.
Teddy?
That was me.
Yeah.
Teddy?
Yes.
Al?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Ashley?
Aye.
Chuck, I.
Betsy, aye.
Kathleen, aye.
Okay. 800. All right then. Polly's Pond,
Polly's Pond.
back again. We did those, so now it sounds cuter. That was good. That was excellent marketing on your part.
So Polly's Pond, nearly every single child that has gone to school at Duxbury knows about this frog pond, which is over near the library. It is on school property. Science classes have frequented this site for tadpole studies, and Tony Kelso noted that the WPA, the Works Progress Administration, in the 1930s worked at the site to create a skating pond.
They failed.
Funds will be used to delineate the wetlands, develop a survey plan, undertake an archaeological survey, clean up the pond, and create a trail around the pond. The school department has been contacted and the response has been very favorable. It's called Polly's Pond because I guess Tony just said that Mary Windsor Alden, known as Aunt Polly, was the only woman who owned the Alden farm, and this was how it got its name.
What's the archaeological significance of that?
Native American artifacts have been found around the area.
Yeah.
It's adjacent to the Upper Castle, right?
No, it's behind the tennis courts and the,
Yeah.
Pickleball.
And what's the ask for this?
25,000.
And what was the CPC vote for Polly?
Positive, yes.
Which fund? Open space?
This would be open space.
Not historic.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mary, did you have a question?
I just wanted to make sure I understood. So this 25,000 is to survey and do the design of future improvements. So we would anticipate that at a future town meeting, we would see another article for improvements. Am I following that properly, Holly?
I think we're hoping that this is going to be, we'll see. I mean, it depends. If there's we'll see what happens with the archaeological plan. But hopefully to get this thing started, see what we can accomplish.
That was part of the conversations that we've had with the schools, that they may use this as a curriculum point. And we've also had communications with scouts that once it's designed, that they could help do the clearing. And the other communication with the school was with the woodworking group to maybe build benches. So this ask is for the survey, the design, and the archaeological.
Is this the pond that runs to the back of the yacht club?
No.
Oh, that's just classroom. That was a PDF grant, I think.
This has no outlet. It's a.
This has come back a few times for the Polly and her pond.
Yeah.
Why did he come back again? What was the, I mean, we do see things revisited, the kind of definition of insanity kind of
Yeah.
trail.
So what happened last year was, we did not hear from the state until probably right around now that there was archaeological significance. So we had IP'd it or pulled it completely. I can't remember which.
Oh, okay, so they have said it has some historical.
Yes. Correct.
So, but we're not taking it out of the historical bucket.
No, we figured, I mean, ideally, we'd like to see it as with a nice trail and seating there, open space.
Skating.
So, yeah, sure, that might have actually
Can
worked.
I just get a little bit of an education on the archaeological piece of it? If something is found of archaeological significance.
Yeah.
What then?
It's kind of crazy, but they just turn the artifacts over to us.
So it doesn't, I know so little about archaeology and the topic, so, and I'm the only reason I'm asking because at one point in time, there was on our property, there was talk about there was an archaeological site, right? And I don't know the process, and does that then, does that archaeological findings or designation, or does it have any impact on the usage, the public usage of the property, I guess is where I'm going.
It's a very good question, and I think we won't know that until we get the study done.
But then isn't the, not to mention the word barn again, but isn't the horse out of the barn at that point?
I mean, the sad thing is this pond, I was one of those kids that
Sorry.
was down at that pond as a little kid. We have all been down there.
That doesn't make it
It's a
historic.
mess. Things have been thrown in it. It is just.
It's been disturbed. So
It's
we're not-
very disturbed.
Right.
Yeah.
Does it have a water source?
I think it's spring fed.
Can you see it
Drains
from
in-
anywhere?
So the actual pond?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you, I'm trying to think where Mary could pull this up from.
From the courts? You would see it?
So behind, between the library courts and say the Alden House, there's like a dirt road.
Right.
So if you go down that dirt road.
So you can't see it. It's
Not from the street, but if you, from that dirt road, you can see it.
You have to go on an
Yeah.
adventure.
You
the
have
access
to go
road.
adventuring. Oh, good. Look, I think we've outlived our Zoom capacity. Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Oh, please do.
So I was a student at Alden 30 years ago. I do remember going to that pond. I mean, if I live, 200 yards down the street from it. Effectively now it's a swamp with some water. I mean, we have the outdoor classroom that's adjacent to the school. I don't know why we would need to rehabilitate this swamp/pond. And I do want to make the comment, well, we're asking for allocation from the CPA funds that already exist. I think these requests need to highlight the need for the surcharge to be at 3% versus 1%. So this seems to fall in the camp that JR suggested. Just because we have it, let's spend it. And I'm not sure why there's a need to rehabilitate a swamp.
Here.
Well, when we were out there doing one of our site visits, there were students there in a science class looking for.
Are the schools saying they're gonna contribute to this
Oh, yeah.
endeavor
No.
financially?
Well, they haven't said financially.
And
they have enough.
But they, it would become part of it, with right, in cost.
That was a rhetorical. I mean, how much do they love Polly's Pond? All right, okay, move to approve. Yeah, oh, sorry. Make a motion in the positive, yep. Move to approve Polly's Pond restoration.
Second.
JR,
No.
okay?
No.
Al?
Aye.
No, Al, what did you say, sweetie? What?
Aye.
Aye for Al, okay. Teddy?
No.
You're grouchy. Okay,
No.
no for Mark, okay. Ash?
No.
No for Ashley. This is not
Chuck,
looking
aye.
good for Polly. Okay, did I get everybody? I got everybody, right?
We got 5 so far.
I missed Kathleen and Betsy.
Nope, okay. Chuck, what did you say? Aye for Chuck?
James Cox.
I can't go for Polly. I'm sorry. No. No for Polly.
Yes, sir.
Kathleen, what was yours? I'm sorry.
No for Polly.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I have that right. So it's 2 to 7,
2 to 6.
2 to 6. My bad. Who did I? Okay,
6-0.
2, 6. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, we're Shipyard Beach Park.
All right.
Is this a water slide, Holly, or? Yeah. You're the first going down. Just going
Great idea. We should have included that.
Yeah,
All right, the request is for 15,000. First of all, it's one of the most popular sites in town. For those who were unaware, the property extends beyond the parking lot and up towards the new house that was just constructed. Beach erosion has taken the tree that was at the top of the seawall. That's gone. CPA funds will be used to install a rail fence along the property line, delineating the private and public area in that big lawn. 1 or 2 ADA picnic tables may be installed, and the planting of native grasses along the seawall is suggested. So,
are we gonna do anything because about the seawall that's there that, has taken it on the chin, and as you say, that little tiny strip of land is falling into the sea.
We haven't, no one has talked to us about doing the seawall over.
Well, who's asking for this money?
This was essentially conservation and CPA.
And livable Duxbury and
Oh,
Council
yes.
on Aging.
Right.
Yeah. So the discussion started when we met down there. It was myself, members of Livable Duxbury, the DPW, and we were talking about, you can actually see on this image, the ADA accessible picnic table that's on the beach side. And while we were there, we were talking about how the erosion was taking that grassy area, and the discussion turned to the other side. And nobody knew that actually belonged to the town, because it appears now with the new house that it belongs. It's almost like the house's front lawn.
So all of that land on the other side of the parking lot is town land?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes, that's what we said.
So after the kayaks?
Yes.
Is that where we're gonna put is that where we're gonna put the
They are
kayak
not going
stands?
there.
It's gonna be kayak shed.
All right, we're getting silly,
Yeah.
Pull it together. This fiscal advisory is really bringing down.
So an ADA picnic table has already been installed where that white square is, right near
where the tree used to be?
No, right
in front of that red car.
Yeah, we got
That
it.
white square is an ADA table.
Okay.
The idea is to put 1 or perhaps 2 other tables, perhaps over under the shade trees on the lawn.
Ooh, that'll be popular.
It's really to make it more accessible and again, to put do a little bit of landscaping near the seawall, just.
Do
to make
we,
it more
do we mow that grass?
Yeah, oh, yes.
DPW does, yeah.
There used to be a much more clear delineation.
Yeah, Mary, I think
Was it when the old house?
one of
was
the
there?
previous near map images, I think I had the original.
Not talking.
Okay, so,
A split rail fence to delineate the property.
Oh, that's what it used to look like.
right,
Yeah.
okay,
There were some high bushes that delineated it before.
Right, and that's what's in the sea now?
no, the old house got torn down, a new house has
Didn't
been,
get torn
a lovely
down.
new house has been built.
Not get torn down.
No, please, don't make upset Tony. So so the split rail fence is gonna be so that we can reclaim, if you will,
Yes,
visually.
just so that people know that they can.
Let me get to the point.
That'd be great.
The point of my question was, I'm hearing that there was a tree that was eroded into the sea.
Yeah, it's in the picture.
Okay,
It's gone.
so now we're not building a structure that is going to be vulnerable to the erosion as well, is really my point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, because we do have a little bit of erosion issues on our coastlines, right? So it's always sensitive. I'm very sensitive to seawalls and eroding things and
Yes.
stuff. Okay, thank you.
Everything's on the other side of the property.
Right.
Are we putting any picnic tables on that side of the parking lot? So on
We're
the
talking to the
grassy
left.
knoll, if you will?
The left of the parking lot we're thinking of.
I'm sorry, I think the finance committee. I don't think we've met past 8:30. You guys are being silly.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. So I'm assuming that you've had a conversation with the adjacent property and we've worked all that out.
Well, yes, yes.
I just don't want to approve something that's gonna
We
get sued.
sued.
Well,
I mean, do we have an accurate survey of the property?
There's the question.
we
It was done when
don't,
the
that I
house-
know of.
That's
we
what I
can
think.
certainly-
Well, there's the
Yeah.
bound, right?
Oh, there is yes, you
Yeah,
can see the bound, yeah.
Yes.
But in terms of the neighbor, we are being very sensitive to their, new construction, and we're not putting up, a stockade fence. It's gonna be a low split rail, you can see through it. It's really just to delineate, that as available space for the town to use.
Good fences make good neighbors.
All right, okay, this is a conversation that's not gonna improve. All right, so could somebody please make a motion,
Move to approve Shipyard Beach Park.
Second,
JR,
Aye.
okay, Al? Al, you're on mute if you're. Al? Oh, there you go. Nope,
Aye.
Al? Okay,
Aye.
Jenny? Mark?
Aye.
Ashley?
Aye.
Chuck,
Betsy, aye. Kathleen, aye. Good luck, go with God. All right.
did I vote?
Yes, yeah, you did.
Twice.
Early
and often.
and often, Teddy, early and often. All right, beautiful. I'm done for tonight. Mary,
did
you
you
know
vote in favor of that?
that joke that we had earlier about being able to start the special town meeting warrant article? I was kidding. That was a joke. We're gonna push that to Thursday.
I think
Because
we're good.
because we're getting silly. And
So we have three more.
I think that I would love to say,
You have three more left
Oh, yeah, on Thursday.
yes, we have two more of these on Thursday. The
Yeah.
Three, the playground, the wallpaper, and the fields.
The playground? Oh, we didn't do the playground. Did I skip it?
No, we purposely didn't do it because we haven't voted the amount.
Oh, that's right. Okay, perfect. So you're gonna, okay, great. So we'll have three, but we'll just. Right through we will, right through. All right, can I have a, thank you.
Sorry, before you pass, so, fiscal advisory.
No, you can't talk.
It's too late to post for Thursday. We can certainly still attend, but we cannot vote or deliberate.
You didn't tonight.
I know.
You deliberated. All right, all those, motion to adjourn,
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.